Kill him! You know how much I love you! Fuck you doing? What are you gonna do? You gonna shoot me?
On October 7th, 2007, a company of soldiers was undergoing preparation for a dangerous mission in Afghanistan. One of the soldiers, who served as captain, named Sam, had to leave a wife and 2 daughters, namely Grace, Izzy, and Maggie. Therefore, Sam wrote a farewell letter to his wife, just in case Sam later died during his mission. Later, the letter was entrusted to Major Cavazos. Sam took the time to go home to meet and say goodbye to his family.
Hello? Hey!
On the other hand, Sam's younger brother's homies just got out of prison after being caught in a bank robbery case. Tommy and Sam are very different people, but Sam loves his little brother very much. After being picked up by Sam and arriving home, they have dinner with their father Hank and their stepmother Elsie. It seemed that Grace did not like Tommy at that time, as well as Hank, who hated Tommy, his youngest child, because he was very delinquent. The dinner was held to welcome Tommy home and to pray for Sam before going on his mission because of his habit. In prison, unknowingly, Tommy said unkind things at the dinner table, even though he probably didn't mean anything bad. His father, who was uncomfortable with Tommy's way of speaking, immediately mentioned it.
Why don't you try mimicking your brother?
And an argument ensued at the dinner table. Your brother huff or changed. Dad, this food is great prison food, Tommy. After the incident, Tommy returned to his place and did not forget to pray for his brother's departure. After that, the scene changed when Sam left his ring to Grace. And long story short, on October 12th, Sam and his men finally arrived in Afghanistan. They went around in a helicopter, but suddenly military representatives came to Grace's house to share the sad news, and Grace can only cry at the news that her husband, Sam, has died. In the evening, a drunken Tommy comes to return Grace's car until Grace finally tells Tommy that Sam is gone. I was just driving off in the car. Sam told me I could borrow it. Sam's dead. He's dead.
Why didn't you call me?
We've all been trying, Tommy.
I just had to sit down for a second.
Tommy foreign. The next day, they went to Sam's funeral, and according to their mandate, Major Cavazos gave Sam's letter to Grace. On the other hand, Tommy offers to drive the family car to take them home, but Hank refuses and instead told Tommy to find a job so he could have his own car. Tensions resurfaced between his father and son, where Hank blamed Tommy for being a troublemaker. Instead, Tommy started blaming Hank for his Mother's Day on the
What's going on?
Tommy tries to make amends to his family by getting his old friend to fix Grace's kitchen, but Grace is annoyed and pulls Tommy to talk. Grace says Tommy should have asked permission first, but since they had already started, Grace finally allowed them. After 2 months had passed, Sam and Joe could only languish in a small hole and were provided with only a little bit of food until finally they were taken to a place. Sam reminded Joe not to give any information, including about their family. When they came out, they saw 2 terrorist leaders, Murad and Yusuf, who casually killed one of their subordinates for being negligent while working. It was the turn of Sam and Joe, who were asked to make a message for their home country, America, but because they refused one by one in turn, they were tortured.
Stay strong, Private.
Yes, sir.
Because he could not withstand the torture he received, Joe finally gave in and finally gave a message to America that they had no right to interfere in Afghanistan, and he declared he would quit his mission back home to comfort Grace from the grief of losing her husband. Tommy and his friends and his 2 nieces paint one of the rooms in Grace's house. Then suddenly Maggie accidentally spills paint on one of Tommy's friends, and Grace goes to get a change of clothes from Sam's wardrobe. But when she saw the line of Sam's clothes, Grace remembered about Sam again, and Grace got emotional again. On Grace's birthday, Tommy has an idea to surprise her with the whole family by directing Grace into a beautifully decorated kitchen. Grace felt very happy at that time, realizing that there were still many people who loved her. After that, Tommy, Grace, and their 2 children went ice skating. With Tommy's attitude starting to change, their relationship was getting better. After that, Tommy, who felt guilty for robbing a bank and treating an employee very badly, came back to the bank to apologize. Tommy also told Grace what he had done and told her that the employee had calmed down because she knew that Tommy had regretted his actions. Then they continued to chat, getting carried away by the atmosphere of the moment. They finally kissed, and she felt that she had made a mistake. Grace went outside to cool off, and Tommy went straight to his house, where Sam received the torture of a hot iron that was pinned repeatedly to his leg because he did not want to comply with the wishes of the terrorists. Not long after, Hank came and admired Tommy's skill in repairing many things there, and then Tommy played in the snow with his nieces. Grace was also happy to see this. Suddenly Grace received a call, and how surprised Grace was that she got the news that her husband Sam was found alive. Going on. When Sam got home, Sam went around the house and of course hugged his family longing, but suddenly Sam fell silent with a blank stare and looked dazed at night. Grace, who missed her husband very much, kissed Sam's back while Sam was shaving his beard, but unexpectedly Sam replied currently and said that he wanted to finish shaving. First, so did Hank, who saw Sam's unnatural behavior. He also found it difficult to talk to his wife since Sam didn't respond. Hank said he was always open if Sam wanted to talk to him. Let me know. After that they went ice skating, but Sam just sat watching the closeness of Tommy and his family from a distance until Tommy approached Sam for a chat. Sam seemed to be thinking too much and said Tommy and Grace looked like a couple of teenagers in love and asked if Tommy had ever slept with Grace. Did you? Her hearing that question, Tommy could only stay silent and wonder what was in his older brother's head. Teenagers, when they get home they have guests, namely Cassie, Joe's wife, and their baby child, Sam, who heard Cassie was still thinking about her husband, even to the point of it being carried away in Sam's dreams many times, until Cassie finally asked Sam if Sam was sad when he died. When night fell, Sam started behaving strangely. He started rearranging his furniture over and over again until one time Sam pulled out a gun just because he heard a dog bark. This morning Sam went to the office to meet Major Cavazo Eston. Cavazos realizes that Sam is still not completely stable and advises Sam to reunite with his family at dinner. Together it appears that Sam does not understand the jokes of his children. Grace became increasingly convinced that something was wrong with Sam and went straight to her and asked what had happened while Sam was in Afghanistan, but instead Sam suspiciously asked about Grace and Tommy's relationship, to which Grace answered honestly that they had only kissed once, but Sam, with disbelief, instead went out of the house. That night Sam went to Joe's grave until dawn, then returned home and saw his two daughters playing, but there as he looked scared and held back tears when her father came to her. It was Maggie's birthday, and they were celebrating it at her grandparents' house, and Tommy came over with his crush Tina, whom he only met a few hours ago. Tommy did this to tell Sam indirectly that Tommy had no relationship with Grace, but at that time Izzy looked uncomfortable when her uncle came with a woman, making Izzy lose her appetite and just play with her chocolate cake. Izzy is also jealous of her sister, who gets a lot of gifts on her birthday, because when it was her birthday her father was still in Afghanistan, and Izzy kept looking for attention while holding back her tears. Seeing this, Sam gradually became angry and reacted unexpectedly. After that he also told a crazy lie because she felt she hated her father even more. Okay, Isabel, I didn't get anything that I wanted in my favorite Afghanistan schools. My grades were trying to listen to our guest. Alright, here's a bell. Enough. When they arrived at Izzy's house, apologized for what he said. Then Grace asked why as he was lying at that time. Izzy replied that she didn't like her father and preferred her uncle Tommy. Then Grace calmed her two daughters down and promised that their father's condition would get better soon, because Grace saw Sam's behavior was getting more and more strange. Grace also called her in-laws for help. Tommy immediately went to Sam's house, and Elsie asked Hank to call the police. Then Grace came to Sam, who looked very depressed, and found Sam was sitting on the sofa holding a metal pipe.
You know what I did? The fuck is that?
And Tommy came and immediately hugged his brother slowly, but suddenly Sam's anger came back and threatened to shoot Tommy, until finally the police asked Sam to lower his gun because Sam was already considered a hero, but Sam still brandished his gun and shouted that he was not a hero because he had dirty his own hands. Shut up, brother. Then Tommy tried to calm his brother. Then Sam managed to wake up and threw the gun away. Now Sam is in a mental hospital while Grace finally opens the letter that had been written by Sam. It was written there that Sam loved his wife and children very much. Then soon Sam called Tommy because he felt guilty and suddenly thought of his brother. Long story short, Grace is seen visiting Sam in a mental hospital. Grace again asks about what really happened in Afghanistan and why Sam always punishes himself. Grace said she had loved Sam since she was 16, and if Sam still couldn't be honest, then she wouldn't be back in Sam's arms again. Then Sam finally confessed that he had killed Joe with his own hands. Then at the end of the film, Sam asks if he can still go back to how he used to be and live happily with his family.
I have seen the end of war. Can I live again?
And finally, the movie ends.